it's Chef Claudia. Welcome to mi casa, to mi cocina. And while we're celebrating Cinco de Mayo, I think you can tell that we got a little festive. We're here with Sprouts and we're really excited to be able to share. And when I say we have a whole team here. Marie's behind the camera. My mom helped me set up. I mean, this is a family affair. And so we wanted to bring you into the cocina because, well, that's what we do, right? And on top of that, we wanted to show you an incredible recipe that you can make using the incredible array of chiles that you can find at Sprouts, of course. As you guys know full well, Sprouts is the best place to find, ingredients to really live healthy, right? They are really interested in making sure that we are healthy living. And well, at the end of the day, guys, that's exactly why I shop at Sprouts. Sprouts is my favorite go-to. It's always got the best ingredients, but on top of that, it's always got like the best level of freshness, right? You go to a lot of grocers and it's not the same, right? So one of the reasons why I love Sprouts is that. I also love the fact that I can talk to my produce people and say, hey, what is this? Because there's always something new and exciting to explore. And well, today, since we are talking Cinco de Mayo, and being really honest, I mean, I think that one of the biggest things that food culture in Mexico really brings to the forefront is its amazing use of chilies just like this. Now, I mean, this is quite the array, if I do say so myself. I like to call it my chile boat because, it's got like the little stem on this side and it looks like a boat. But in this case, there really is that, right? And here's just a couple of the chilies that I was able to find at my local Sprouts that I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about because a lot of people don't know what to do, right? I mean, we're all used to working with this, right? I mean, it's a bell pepper. Wait a second, I think it kind of matches my dress. Bell peppers are awesome. Of course, you can stuff them, you can bake with them, you can use them for sauces. Oh my gosh, roasted red peppers, delicious, right? But one of the things that I think is important to talk about when we're talking about chiles is the Scoville heat unit, right? So the Scoville heat scale is actually something that was created many, many years ago. And of course, that represents how hot those chiles are. So many times we'll say, oh, well, something's spicy. Well, is it spicy like it has a lot of different spices, or is it spicy like hot? Well, when we're talking Scoville, we're talking heat. And today we're gonna turn up the heat talking about all of these different chiles. So let's start at the bottom. If you're talking a bell pepper, we're talking about 0 to 50 on the Scoville heat unit, right? So not very much. So that you already know if you eat a bell pepper, not very spicy, right? Delicious, but not spicy at all. But then as you start to go a little bit on the more adventurous side, we're talking about maybe some shishito peppers. I'm sure you've had these if you've ever had them, fried, sauteed, absolutely delicious. They're one of my favorite things to eat currently. I just saute them with a little bit of oil, garlic. I mean, you don't even have to do much to them. They're absolutely delicious. These are for about 50 to 200 on the Scoville unit, but beware. They say that for every one of like 10, you're gonna get a spicy one. So, just make sure you've got a nice glass of water or milk nearby. Next, of course, is the Anaheim chili. This one's also known as a hatch chili. By the way, they're kind of the same thing. The hatch chili, though, is actually grown in New Mexico. And it does have a little bit of variation because, of course, what happens in different areas, different, climates change the chili just slightly. But in reality, it is the same species. So that's pretty cool. These are between 500 and about 1,500 on the Scoville unit. So you start to see that we're going a little bit higher, right? Now, after that, we've got, let's see, where shall we go? Let's go jalapeno. I feel like a lot of people love their stuffed jalapenos, right? You love stuffed jalapenos because they're delicious. You want to stuff them with cream cheese. My favorite is doing like a little mixture of shrimp with like a little bit of cheese and then roasting them. You guys, delicious. By the way, that's also a chile relleno because really chile relleno just means a stuffed chili. So... So that's jalapenos. Jalapenos are somewhere between about 5,000 to 10,000 on the really high level on the Scoville unit. So now we're making it into the upper thousands, right? And then, of course, some of you may recognize the Serrano, which is a little bit more slender than the jalapeno, you'll notice. And just a really good word of advice. Most farmers will say that if you look at the chile and it's curved and the actual stem is curved, then that means that it's likely a spicier chile. So if you're looking for not spicy chilies, that's definitely the place that you want to go. Of course, all of these work really well in different types of dishes. You can chop them up. These Anaheims are delicious in like a bistec ranchero. If you've never had that, it's delicious. What else do we have? Oh, the super spicy habanero. Now, the Serrano is coming in at a whopping 10,000 to 25,000 on the Scoville unit. But guys, the habanero, if you've never had this, it's phenomenal. Now, it's made Marie, my assistant, cry a couple times. Yeah, I'm sure you hear her laughing. I've made her cry making aguachile, which is, you know, something that's like a shrimp ceviche that's from where my family's from in Mazatlan, Sinaloa. And anyway, these little babies pack a punch. I mean, these are like at 100,000, guys. 100,000 to 350,000 on the Scoville unit. Now, let's go. 0 to 50, 350,000. So we obviously know that these are going to be super spicy. If you're not used to working with these, definitely consider using gloves. Even if, for example, you're not used to working with jalapenos or serranos, definitely, especially if you're going to be stuffing them and touching the insides of them, make sure that you use some gloves. Or one of my tricks, after you finish washing your hands with nice soapy water, make sure that you take a lemon to your hands, and that will actually help to take off some of that super, super spiciness. So yeah, that's a ton of, oh, and look, I found these. Look at these beautiful striped bell peppers. I just had to show you. Look at that. I don't know if you guys, yeah. I'm like, I feel like it's kind of blown out a little bit, but I just thought that they were the most beautiful thing because they're like a blend between like an orange bell pepper and a red bell pepper. But this is the kind of really cool stuff that honestly I had never seen until I visited a Sprouts. So definitely make sure that you check it out and always ask. Your produce people are always willing to say, oh yes, it's kind of like an X. Now, let's talk about my favorite chile of all. Of all of the chiles here, my favorite is the one I didn't mention. It's the Poblano pepper. Now, Poblano peppers, mistakenly, are actually called pasilla peppers a lot in the United States. But the pasilla is actually the dry version of a different type of chile. And we won't even get into that because that's a whole nother, and maybe we could do that some other time, but that's a whole nother story because, for example, jalapeno, when it's dried and smoked, chipotle, right? So things like that. These become the ancho chili when they're dry. But these are my favorite. Why? Because they have just the most amazing smoky flavor. And the reason why they get smoky is because we grill them over open fire. Now, all of these chiles have so many different variations and, uses for different dishes. So definitely make sure that you Google. If you're interested in trying any one of these chiles, all of them can be stuffed, guys. And with whatever you like, whether you like ground turkey, ground, grass-fed beef, whether you like rice, whether you like, soy, whatever it is, you can make these in so many different ways and include them in all of your different sautés or, different dishes. So today we're focusing on the Poblano. The Poblano is between 1,000 and 2,500. So right between like the Anaheim and the Jalapeno. So not too spicy, but every now and then you will get a pretty spicy one. So meanwhile, let's go ahead and bounce these off to the back. Oh, guys, that was heavy. And Marie, I'm gonna have you, how about I have you zoom in a little bit closer so that we can get cooking. I'm gonna pull my hair up. Hope that's okay with you guys, but it's like chef's habit, right? You have to put your hair up once you're going to be working in the kitchen. All right. Now, we're going to move over to the kitchen because why? Because I'm going to show you how to roast these chilies. So these are the Poblano peppers. Now, word of advice, maybe you don't have a gas range. Maybe you have, I don't know, an electric range or a convection stove, one of those things. If you don't have this, you can always place a saute pan onto your heat here. And what you can do is just let them toast up, or you can use your broiler in your oven in order to char those, and so that you get that same kind of toasting effect. You'll get the same kind of toasting and roasting more so but you won't get that nice like burnt char. So if you do have this, or you have a friend, or like me, when I had an electric stove, I would go over to my mom's house and say, hey, can I just really quick char my peppers so that I can make my chile rellenos? Why char the peppers? Well, the really important part of it is these do have a very thin skin, but that thin skin can be a little bit hard to like eat. So I definitely recommend, if you're going to use these peppers, this is definitely the best way to use them. Make sure that they're charred, peel off that skin, and that's exactly what we're hoping to achieve. Now, I don't know if you can hear that. It's not even about what you can hear. What I wish is what you could smell. This already smells glorious. You can smell that super smokiness of the chili. And so what you want to continue to do, obviously with nice and care, is you want to, check this out. Hey, Marie, can we zoom a little bit? Oh yeah, that's a great zoom. Look at that. Okay. So we want that char. We want all of that skin to kind of blister off of that chile. And then what you're going to do is you're going to have a you know, whether it's your produce bag that you purchase them in, or a zip top bag, or whatever kind of bag you have available to you, use that in order to make sure that you kind of steam them, right? So we're going to continue to char these. And then meanwhile, in this blender, I already have some of the ingredients that this whole recipe is already up on sprouts.com. So make sure that you go find it there. In here, I already have 1 pound of tomatillos. I have 2 garlic cloves, 1/2 of an onion, and some cilantro as well. The recipe again is online. I'm sure I'm gonna forget something, so I'm not even gonna try to pretend that I know exactly off the top of my head because I have so much to remember right now. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and finish charring these chiles. And what you want is for all of that to really blister off, right? You really want it to kind of, I don't know how to explain it. Like, and I feel like it's one of those things that you kind of just, I have to show you. But as you go, you start to see that all of this, I'm like, let's see. Yeah? Is that good? So you start to see that all of this is blistering off. And so what'll happen is once we put these into a bag, the steam will actually help that skin to separate from the actual flesh of the chile, and it will be phenomenal. So what you want, once these are nice and charred, is you're gonna put them in the bag, okay? And you want them pretty dark. It's okay if you have a couple of pieces that don't get black or, you know, get charred. That's gonna be fine. And notice it immediately starts to steam up. What you want to do is you want to grab your towel. I'm using my mom's. she, by the way, she was like, I'm going to let you borrow it, but I need it back and you owe me one. So you're going to go ahead and cover that with a nice towel and you're going to let them rest. You can let them rest for as little or as long as you want. That's the honest truth. But the truth is, if you could do this like maybe a couple of minutes, maybe an hour in advance, you're really going to be saving yourself time, because the longer it has to steam, the easier they are to peel. So even if you let them cool down completely, I'm always the one that's like very impatient. It's honestly a little bit of a flaw that I have. I'm very impatient and I want to get to it. I want to get to the next part of the recipe. So I always peel them when they're hot, but you can run them under cold water and then peel off all of the skin. And so what you'll do is you'll peel off all of the skin. You'll take off the inside veins, all of the seeds, and the stem. And so what you'll be left with is this. You're going to be left with all of these beautiful chilies. Just, you see how it's all the flesh is here, and there's actually no more of that char left. I mean, there might be like 1 or 2 little pieces. Look, of course, once I say that there's going to be no pieces, there's like a tiny bit left. But I honestly, I'm not that picky, but this is what you're looking for, right? You want everything out. You want no more seeds, no more veins, and then that's all you need. So these are the 6 chiles that are called for in the recipe. And then what you'll do is you'll put that into a blender along with the other ingredients. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and blend that up. Now, I'm sorry. Usually you don't have a live where there's actual cooking happening. This is a little bit different because why? Because we're going to learn how to make these enchiladas, and I'm not going to, steal the thunder here. So, meanwhile, I've got a nice large saucepan on the stove, and what we're going to do is we're going to add some avocado oil. Now, you can use any other oil that you like. If you're not an avocado oil fan, I get it, but I'm a really big fan. This is the Sprouts brand avocado oil. The really great thing about avocado oil is that it actually takes on really high heat without, for example, olive oil can become carcinogenic if you cook with really high heat. I'm a fan of high heat cooking, and in Mexico, this is always the way that you finish off sauces. So I wanted to make sure to show you that part. So again, saucepan heating up, and then once we've blended this, you add that into the oil, and be careful because it will sizzle. And it may sputter. I'm like, don't fly in my eye. So let me get this out of the way. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and stir this up. And while this is cooking, I'm gonna talk to you about the tortillas because this is a super important part. If you are an enchilada fan, you should know, well, a lot of the reason why you have some super soggy fall apart tortillas is because that tortilla was not fried. And I realize, yes, that may not necessarily be the healthiest way of eating it, right? I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, really, Claudia, we're gonna fry the tortilla? But I promise you that it is for that reason that you are having these enchiladas that are like, falling apart. Have you ever had those? Or where they do like an enchilada casserole and it's just like raw tortillas being put into like every time I watch one of those videos I'm like, no, don't do it. So what you want to do while this is warming up over here, you want to cook this for about 5 minutes. So while that's working, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit again of that avocado oil. And I'm going to go ahead and start frying up the tortillas. Now I found these are all organic tortillas at Sprouts. Yes, they have tortillas at Sprouts. You can use whatever you want. I'm going to go ahead and cover this because this is sputtering at me already, little brat. And let's bounce this over here. Like, let's clean the arms since we've got salsa verde over here. And then we're going to go ahead and start frying up these tortillas. Now, I've already got some that I've already started frying up before this. Again, you can fry these a little bit in advance, maybe not so much. But if you keep them in a zip top bag after they're fried, they actually keep pretty well. So you fry them for about maybe 15 to 20 seconds on each side. I only put maybe about 2 tablespoons of oil in there, and you can probably fry about 12 tortillas with that. So see how fast that is? I mean, I'm literally just a couple of tortillas. You just kind of move it around in the pan. This is what I'm doing to the pan, right? And then I'm flipping it. I mean, I'm giving it maybe, 10 to 15 seconds at most. So what you're doing is you are locking in that kind of corn flavor. You're giving yourself a little bit of oil. And so what that does is it creates a barrier. Will it absorb the sauce? Yes. But will it fall apart? No. And that's the trick, right? So this is like pro tip Mexican 101. All right, so we've got the tortillas and those are all set to go. We're gonna go ahead and put this off to the side. And now it's time to build some enchiladas. So I've already got some enchiladas working in the oven because, guys, this is in some ways very much like TV. But hey, Marie, can we go ahead and zoom in kind of closer to here? Because what I want to show you is something a little bit different. And I know what you're going to be thinking, right? Initially, you're going to say, okay, cool, Claudia, that's a plate. That's not an oven safe dish. I agree. But I'm going to show you the way that I would make them. So first of all, we've got to teach you how to roll them. And these are really hot, so I'm going to go to the ones that are not as hot. So you put one down, and I've got this chicken. Now, oh, let me tell you about the chicken. This is this because I cheated. So one of my mom's favorite tricks is to buy rotisserie chickens and shred those because one, they're super juicy, they're super delicious, and it saves you time. Who has the time to just be boiling chicken and doing all of this when you've got a whole party to get ready for? So what I like to do is I like to pick up the roasted chickens from Sprouts. They have them whether it's unseasoned, they have pickled brine, they have herb roasted. Herb roasted is honestly my favorite for this recipe, but whatever your preference, they have a type of chicken there for you. And so what I do is I then take all of that chicken and then shred it. So super fast, super easy, right? So then what I do is I go ahead and place all of this chicken at the center of the tortilla. Let me know when we're good to go, Marie.
We are all set.
Awesome. So then what you're going to do is you're going to kind of fold this over, right? So that it's almost halfway, right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your fingers and you're going to tuck it, right? So you're going to tuck and make this nice and tight and then roll forward. And of course you're going to leave that fold side down, right? So then what I'd like to do is I like to move it closer to me so that I can start with the next one and lay it right next to it. You see that? So then again, take about 2 ounces of chicken or however much you want. By the way, don't like chicken? Do shredded turkey. Don't like shredded turkey? Do cheese. Whatever your preference, you can make it happen. So again, you're going to fold it in half, and then with your fingers, you're going to hold the one side that's on the bottom, on the plate, and then you're going to tuck, 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 and then roll. Okay? I'm going to do one more. And this will complete the plate. I think we've got a timer going off. Good times. How are we doing on time, Marie? Am I like taking forever?
That was your 20-minute timer.
Great. That's awesome. All right. So then here we have our rolled enchiladas. Now, I don't want to hear you guys say that you don't know how to roll an enchilada because a master chef taught you. So then now let me take a look at our sauce that's been working. Ooh, this is exactly what I wanted. Now let me show you. Remember that bright green sauce? Look at how beautiful that turned. It turned a nice, gorgeous, dark, deep, rich kind of forest green. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take that and pour it right over your enchiladas. That just made me salivate. And then to that, what you'll do is you'll top it with your shredded Oaxaca cheese. Now, this could be whatever type of cheese you prefer. I feel like since you're going Mexican, you should go with the Oaxaca cheese. Why am I making them on a plate? I'm gonna tell you why. Because sometimes people like me, I'm a single mom. I have a child. We don't necessarily, need to eat for 12 people. We don't need 12 enchiladas. So if I make this sauce and I shred this chicken, this is a meal that can last us for 2, maybe even 3 days. Heck, we could make these into chilaquiles later. So I realize that not all of us have a huge party, or maybe some of us are still quarantining, or whatever your choice is. But I wanted to show you how I would do this at home, because the reality is that Mexicanos, this is the way we would eat this, right? Mexicans, this would be done, right? You would garnish with whatever you wanted. But if you're home and you want all this melty cheese, then what you do is you pop it in the microwave. I know what you're thinking. The master chef just told me to pop it in the microwave. I get it, but literally with about 30 seconds of time, that will make sure that your cheese is melted, and voila, you're set and ready to go. Now, I know that I've got some enchiladas that have been baking in the oven because I was prepared for this, and I wanted to show you what they would look like. Oh, look at this. Just stunning, right? This is exactly what you want to serve, for your Cinco de Mayo party tomorrow. And you could top that, make it today, reheat it tomorrow if you really wanted to. And check it out. 30 seconds. Did I lie? Here are those beautiful enchiladas. And then this, of course, you can top with whatever your heart desires. Now, I don't know about you. I'm a really big fan of sour cream, so I think I would add a little bit of sour cream to my plate. And then, what else do we want? I've got a little bit of tomato. I love adding a little bit of color to the plate. So maybe some diced Roma tomato. I love onion, so I'm gonna do some red onion that's nice and julienned. And then I like to say, decorate it like if it just fell out of the sky. You just, we're just letting it fall on there. And then we're gonna go ahead and add the queso fresco. Check that out. Oh my gosh, that looks amazing. I'm already getting hungry, you guys. All right, and then I've got some beautiful thinly sliced radishes. So I'm gonna go ahead and add those for some color and crunch and texture. Ugh, this is making me hungry. Because I like some extra spice, I'm gonna add some jalapenos. So just thinly sliced jalapenos. You don't like spicy? Don't have to include them. That's the best part of this. And then I'm gonna finish it off with a little bit of micro cilantro. Because I gotta be fancy, you guys. This is this is me. But if you're, if you can't find micro cilantro, even though Sprouts does carry micros, you'd be surprised. You can ask for them. Definitely try the micros. They have micro arugulas, micro chard. There's all sorts of delicious things. But with amazing ingredients, like the ones that you can find at Sprouts, you can make amazing, delicious dishes like this. I see my dad coming in, so I'm sure he's coming in for a bite soon. So I hope that you make this recipe. It's super delicious. I think you saw that it's fairly easy. This is going to be an amazing dish for the family tonight. I hope that you try it. Marie, do we have any questions?
No, we just have
while I take a bite.
Super hungry.
So everyone's super hungry. I love that. I'm like, I haven't eaten chicken in like 2 weeks, you guys, because I've been on this diet thing that I've been doing. So I'm not gonna lie, I'm like very excited for this bite right now. Let's see. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah.
Let me see that plate.
Oh yeah. You have to make this. Super delicious. You know where all your ingredients come from. So many of these ingredients, actually coming from farmers locally. And that's one of the things that you can count on with Sprouts, right? They are really focused on that healthy living. And when you have incredible product and incredible produce, you can create incredible dishes. I really hope that you have an amazing Cinco de Mayo. It's been an absolute pleasure to spend time with you today. I hope that you will message us. Leave your comments. If you have any questions, I'm going to be checking comments over the next couple of days. If you have any questions about how long to char or reheatability or things like that, please feel free to leave your messages down here, and I'll be checking and answering all of those questions. And if you're not following me, make sure that you follow me on Instagram, Chef Claudia Sandoval. If you're not already following me on Facebook, definitely do that. Also, Chef Claudia Sandoval. And if you haven't heard, I do have a bakery called El Cochi Dorado, which you can, of course, find on my page where I ship nationwide. So definitely make sure that you check that out. It's been an absolute pleasure. Happy Cinco de Mayo, guys. Bye.